It starts with you. It's an idea for a blog that actually came up the other day when Linda Lee and I were talking. And I've tried to capture it a couple times on video, but I'm going to skip all that and I'm going to read you the blog because this actually has a profound effect. Had a profound effect on me sharing a lot of what I've experienced. And so without further ado, I'd like to read you the blog that actually I wrote. It starts with you, a feeling something's missing, something's lacking, a thought that there's got to be more than what I am currently experiencing. Within those thoughts and those feelings, we find desire to be more, to want more, and to feel more. Yet we also find a trepidation, a resistance, manifesting in various manners of inner dialogue and outer actions. A fear that changing will lead to even worse results than we're currently experiencing. A desire to change without supporting framework to sustain it or guide it is self-delusion. When you look closer, you'll find self-sabotage in your actions. You may want to change, but the belief system, those subconscious patterns that have been formed over decades, correlate to a primal level of survival. These beliefs sustain a status quo, the just enough. And so we struggle, the struggle continues. The emotional roller coaster of desire and want, kept in check by embedded beliefs that I don't deserve it or I'm not enough. It's a real conflict that affects each of us at some level. So how do you change? Well, we all have a threshold, a point of existence where we say enough's enough. A threshold is different and unique in each of us. Much like an alcoholic or an addict finds recovery, for some, it's a hard stop, a single event or consequence that happens. But for many of us, it's a repeated back and forth. This time will be different. I will change. They will change. The situation is going to get better. Insanity within the walls of Alcoholics Anonymous is defined as trying the same thing over and over again, looking for different results. Is it not our desire to be whole and fulfilled, similar in nature? We intuitively know that there's more to this existence. We see it from time to time in publications, documentaries, and elsewhere. Why is it so difficult to grasp? The simple answer is fear. Our lives are complex, nuanced, and layered with emotions, perceptions, and our individual interpretation of the world. In order to cross that threshold, we have to ask ourselves why, then why, then why, then why. We have to unpack the layers to the core. And at the core is where you'll find some aspect of fear. And that's what keeps us trapped. There's a small percentage who sense an agitation or instability in their life, and they create change. They have an incidence or a consequence that creates their hard stop. The majority, however, start and stop, sputter and stall, unsure what to do and how to do it. They've read books, attended workshops and seminars to no avail. What's the missing part? Most often, it's a personal guide or a coach. Guides and coaches are like a set of training wheels for a child learning to ride a bike. They're there for support, to keep you stable, help you create balance, and help you to gain your confidence. They're sounding boards to create accountability for you. If you're ready to cross that threshold and start a journey towards fulfilling your innermost desires and wants, but you're unsure of the next step, Maybe it's time for a conversation. Linda Lee and I have created a framework that guides and supports you through change and allows you to attain those deepest desires. And finding our own peace and strength within, we can truly support ourselves, our relationships, our businesses, and the world. Thus is the purpose behind Better Me and a Better We. If you lasted this long, I appreciate you sticking around. This is actually just a small commentary on the blog that I've written. Starting with you. Starting with you is for men and women. So often as a society, we assume that women get help before men do. But this is a very important point that I would like to get across. A feeling of something missing, a feeling of something lacking, could also be interpreted as maybe, is this all there is in my world? Is this all that I can expect? When you ask questions like that, they're deep philosophical questions. A common existence, in my opinion, is one in which we wake up, we go to work, we come home, we have dinner, we have time with the family or TV or what have you, we go to bed, we wake up, we do it all over again. That is a mundane existence for most parts. There's so much that can happen in between. And that's the point, that the in-between parts are maybe where we find some of that that's missing, some of that that's lacking. For men, I'll read a quote that I picked up from Israel Smith. He's a coach in Australia that I've recently met. And one of his quotes states that every man feels stuck, trapped, or anxious at some point. Because men are socialized not to express these feelings, many, if not all, know little of how to deal with them. So that's a shout out to men. It's a call out that the way that we are taught, the way that we are growing, or the way that we grow up, we're put at a disadvantage on how to deal with some of these feelings that we have. Being a man, I understand that a lot of times we simply just put them in the background and do something else. Maybe they'll go away, but I assure you that they will not go away and they'll continue to crop up. The second point I'd like to make is our subconscious, our belief systems that we have and that we've generated over time, whether it be years, decades, or what have you. They're kind of our first line of defense. They protect us and keep us boxed in to what is our world. When we start challenging those belief systems, when we start pushing back on some of the subconscious through meditations, trance work, and what have you, a lot of times we will get pushback. We'll be on the emotional roller coaster going up and down. That's why it's important sometimes to have someone to talk to, someone to converse with, whether it's a counselor, a therapist, a coach, what have you, a guide for you. You're going to get pushback once you start trying to challenge the way that you see the world. Because the way that you see the world is, in fact, the belief systems that you've created, the values that you maintain. And the third point I wanted to bring up in this commentary is the threshold. Again, everyone's threshold is different, just as everyone's perspective is different. My perspective is made up of what I've experienced, my emotional state, how I see the world, traumas that have occurred to me in the past. maybe lingering traumas that still have an impact on me. That threshold is very similar in nature, that we all have to get to the point that we have to get to. It's not easy. And once we're at that door and about to break through, about to push through, every defense mechanism that you have, that primal instinct of survival, will crop up and tell you, don't do it, don't do it. This is enough for you. And it takes a great amount of courage to push through. If you want transformation in this world, if you want an inner sense of peace, serenity, it takes work to find that. And it takes pushback from the values as well as the beliefs that you have. I hope you enjoyed this, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to the first part and this commentary part. I'd like to encourage you to click the little button that says subscribe, because we're trying to get our subscriber list up and officially name our channel, The Art of We. You can find the blog on theartofwe.com if you'd like to read through it. But for now, thank you for listening. I've also thrown below in the description a Calendly link if you'd like to reach out to Linda Lee or myself and have a conversation. I'm all about conversations. I'm all about learning, exploring, and trying new things, working with people to take them to new levels. So thank you for your time and have a great day.